A carefully coordinated rendezvous in Ukraine's rebel-controlled region. The freed prisoners include Ukrainian riot police accused of firing on protesters in 2014. The controversial swap has angered some activists there, but others see it as a crucial step to improving ties with Moscow. It's the second major prisoner exchange this year. September saw another swap that brought inmates home and fostered hope that the war in eastern Ukraine could soon be over. An early victory for Ukraine's new president, Volodymyr Zelensky.
We have agreed the first step to unblock dialogue and end the war. It is returning our soldiers, our political prisoners.
For more than 5 years, the Ukrainian army has been fighting Russian-backed separatists in the country's east. The war has cost around 14,000 lives and turned a key industrial region into a conflict zone. Efforts to stop the fighting have so far come to little. When Zelensky was elected in April, he promised to restart the peace process. That culminated in a meeting this month with his French, German, and Russian counterparts, in which Sunday's exchange was agreed.
An exchange between both sides in this conflict, based on swapping everyone.
The deal is again raising hopes for a swift resolution to the conflict. But major hurdles between Russia and Ukraine still need to be overcome before peace is possible.
Joining us now from Moscow is correspondent Ivan Geshkovich, who is following today's events for us. Good to see you, Ivan. Do we know yet how many prisoners have been exchanged and who they might be?
Well, by the end of the day, we expect that the exchange will total between 100 and 200 total prisoners. So far, of the 2 breakaway republics that have handled the exchange, only one has gone so far. That is Lugansk, and we expect Donetsk a bit later today. Lugansk sent 25 prisoners back to Kyiv, and Kyiv sent 63 to Lugansk. Most of these prisoners were from the Lugansk side were central government soldiers fighting for Kyiv, and the reverse side actually has plenty of people who have nothing to do with the war. These were included. That's why the Ukrainian side is sending so much more to the breakaway republic to get their soldiers back. Some of these, as was mentioned at the top of the broadcast, are these 5 Berkut police officers who fired on Euromaidan protesters. They have nothing to do with the war, and they have actually sparked some protests in Kyiv. Last night, activists stood outside of the prison where they were held, hoping to block their passage. They weren't. We expect them to be sent over to Donetsk later today. They are waiting at the checkpoint.
And how significant is this prisoner exchange, looking at efforts to ease tensions between Russia and Ukraine?
It's quite significant in the fact that these prisoner exchanges have gotten the leaders back to the table. The first prisoner exchange this year in September was the first time the peace process had gotten going since 2016, so it had been stalled for 3 years. And the second one to end of the year is the second largest prisoner swap over these 6 years. It was a key part of the Normandy summit agreement earlier this month, and we expect that peace talks will be able to continue now at some point in 2020. Early reports suggest early April for the actual important parts. As was mentioned, that ceasefire has not actually been implemented, but the prisoner swap is what is going to get us to that point.
Ivan, what do people in Russia make of the peace efforts between the 2 countries, Russia and Ukraine?
Well, Moscow, from all indications, Moscow wants peace. They're seeing this as a moment, especially because Zelensky has so clearly said he wants to end the war, as a time to negotiate. The major issue is the fact that Moscow feels like it holds all the cards, and it's not really going to let go of its leverage. Kyiv, of course, wants better terms for itself, and Moscow is going to hold firm. And so foreign policy analysts that are speaking in Moscow, following on Twitter today, a lot of them are saying, well, this prisoner swap is all well and good, but what we can expect in 2020 is a frozen conflict, not an actual end to the war. So this is hopeful for the new year, but we'll have to see in the new year what actually happens with the war.
Ivan Geshkovich in Moscow, thank you.